Niyati is working on voice, a lot of voice. So that's a different platform totally. So how do you go about creatively writing an episode? You'll have several episodes. So how do you go, how different it is, or is it the same while writing for audio platforms as well as writing for video platforms, as well as enacting and producing and everything else? Because we're working within budgets. The budgets for audio are a fraction, actually a micro fraction of what video has.
Honestly, the consumer is deciding the value or the premiumness of that content, not really the production budget or the money that you spend on it, because it is served to the consumer in various ways, right? Like if it's short format, Bhuvan Bam, for example, probably is more valuable than maybe a couple of other movies, right? And I think that needs to be sort of respected. So I think the format is incidental in that sense. A lot of times we have written essays that have a germ of an idea, which then gets re-scripted into a podcast or gets sort of re-scripted or rewritten for video. It requires different talent because each medium of expression has a certain requirement for talent. But I think the premise or the germ of that idea can be very similar while you sort of program it differently for the medium of expression.
Yeah, but oftentimes video series can be translated onto audio as well.
Yeah.
So how does that work in terms of translation and or transliteration more precisely?
So I think you have to write to how the medium is consumed, right? So even if you have like a video show, like I know that there have been a couple of remakes of video shows into podcasts, because audio is also consumed passively. It has to have a different pace as compared to how, for example, content is consumed on video in that sense, especially long format audio content. So keeping those things in mind, you kind of work with different talent to make sure the content is best presented in that format. Like you can't have so many characters in an audio thing because somebody is not able to visualize it, but you can have 5 characters in like a video setup because you're using 2 senses in that sense.
Great. So now let's get to Shushmita. When you were doing Senapati, the creative process that followed, talk to us about that, working with AHA.
Senapati actually happened, I should give it to Ajit and Vasu and everybody in AHA. It was a great opportunity given by them, and through which I met a very, very good talent, our director Pawan Sadhaneni. And what he did was, this was my experience, even I was a new producer back then, still now I'm still learning, but what happened with Pawan is he brought in all the young talent that were waiting to be, to showcase their skill on platforms like this. So that was an amazing experience because through that we learned so much how all of us in terms of learning, showcasing what we're doing, and also appeasing a platform and our audiences and everything put together. There were many challenges. And working with young talent, I had their challenges also within our creative team, but there was so much of a sort of a sense of responsibility and wanting to be there. There was a lot of passion. So for me, it was an amazing experience because our DOP, music, director, actors, everybody were new, relatively new and young talent. So it gave me a huge opportunity to learn. And because they were young, I could also creatively involve myself and enjoy the whole process. Truly, we enjoyed making that film. And when all the creators enjoy making something, it is sure to become a huge hit, whichever platform. So that's what
one
showed
thing
on
that was
Senapati.
so good in that team. So Pawan had a certain vision for the show, but Sushmita, as a new producer, had no rules or no names in her mind, right? So they were able to go and get the best people for the job without looking at their CV. And that shows at the film. When we saw it for the first time, we said, shit, we should have taken it to theatre. It was so good.